A lot of my life was spent looking for advice or habits or ways that I can set up my life so I can actually just do things. I can have a goal, and then I have a system in place in my life where I can complete steps to get towards that goal. And that is very good. Okay, it's very good to have that. I'm not going to knock that at all. But I fell into the trap of wanting to constantly listen to, advice videos or people who I thought were doing something that I wanted to do. And so I would follow everything that they said. I would listen to them. I'd be like, how do they operate? What are the things that they struggle with? What helps them with that? And then try to, apply that to my own life. And that's very useful. It is a useful starting point because when you're so lost and confused, you need something to anchor to so that you can just find your footing, right? When you have no sense of direction, you don't know up from down, you just have to have somewhere that you can cling on to so that you can start to build a foundation. But in building that foundation, I feel like I've built a solid enough base to where now the only thing that's stopping me is myself. I have to go out there and I have to start building on top of that foundation. And that's the most difficult part because I still fall into the traps of wanting to look for what other people say, what's the advice that they say, what are the tips and tricks, what are like the discipline habits that I can do. If I wake up every morning at 5:30 in the morning and then I go for a run, is that going to help me at all? And all of these things, these wellness tips, the Andrew Hubermans, the Brian Johnsons, even David Goggins, whatever, all of those frameworks, they don't mean anything. They don't do anything for your life. They're all just distractions from the reality of life, which is that anything that you have to do it yourself. You have to go through your own journey. You can't copy paste someone else's journey, even if they're so close to you that they're like your twin brother that have lived the same exact circumstances. They still have their own journey that is separate from yours. You can't ride off the backs of whatever they do. You can't copy exactly what they do and expect the same result. That's impossible. And so at a certain point in your journey, you're going to have to come face to face with the fact that all of the bad qualities, quote unquote, bad qualities that you face, there's no running away from it. You kind of just have to face it head on and you have to overcome it head on. And that's the scariest thing and it's the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me is putting myself out there in real life. And I don't know what happened because in high school, I was so willing to put myself out there. I was captain of the debate team, won national competitions in that way, was on the soccer team, didn't really do well in soccer, but it was fun either way, was in all of these different clubs and activities and forward facing and did public speaking at my school as well in front of the student body. All these sorts of things. I was just putting myself out there and I didn't really care because at the time I didn't care what the consequences were because I had such a strong belief in myself and I knew that everyone around me was no better than myself. Not to say that in like a way where I would demean other people, but in that I would treat other people the same way I would want to be treated. The golden rule, as they say in Matthew or whatever book of the Bible that's in, just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And so that's exactly what I would do. I would talk to other people as the same way that I wanted to be talked to, treat them with respect the same way, and I would expect from them the same things that I would expect from myself. And that turned out very good. Leading up to university, a lot of things happened. Lost my mom before going into university in the year late 2020. And as much as I want to try to avoid putting that aspect, that little factoid about my life out there, I think it's something that's just essential. It's a part of my life that happened that changed me a lot that I can't just ignore. I can't just put it as a footnote. It is a very fundamental aspect to my life. And I think a lot of after that happened and then going to university, I just wanted to do something that was generally successful. Did a physics degree at Berkeley, got through that, did some pretty good undergraduate research, thought I wanted to be a physicist, that kind of thing. Ended up figuring out that that's really not what I wanted to do. And then moved from America, to Canada, wanted to try to set up some thing over there, figured out that to get like, permanent residency, I would probably, the best option for me is either work or going to higher education. Tried both of those, no luck there. Back home in the Bahamas, trying to get something figured out now. And it's June, I leave in July. I still haven't gotten anything really figured out aside from things that I could have done in Vancouver as well that I probably should have just done in Vancouver. And I feel stuck again. And the whole reason why I came back home in the Bahamas from Canada was because I felt so stuck in Vancouver. I was just in the room in my grandma's place, just looping over the same thoughts over and over, not meeting anyone, not going out, interacting with anyone, just kind of staying in my room, trying desperately to finish up, work on music, work on videos, just something to just get the ball rolling, just feel like I'm moving in a direction. And I thought changing environment would help things, and it has helped things. My spirit, my vibe, my energy is more lifted. I feel more happy day to day, feel more capable. But there's still just that there's just some huge barrier that just prevents me from wanting to put myself out there, wanting to take these huge risks. Because even though it feels risky, spending all the money that I have in my bank account to come back home in hopes of getting something done, it's not really all that risky. Like, it's still not, I don't know how to explain it. It is kind of risky in a way, but it's just not, I'm not putting myself out there, and I'm not doing the things that I know that I could be doing, that I know that I should be doing. And I think a large part of it that I haven't really explored and I've kind of pushed away is, in high school, I was able to do all those things. Post high school, not able to do those things. What was the big transitionary thing that happened between then? Losing my mother, not having any parents anymore. I'm very blessed, thank God, that I have my older sister who helps me out a lot, and then an older brother as well who's there for me if I need him. And I say all of that to say that I try to find ways to get out of these slumps from, advice online. The previous video that I did on this channel was to never follow anyone's advice. And it was me coming to the realization that, any advice that someone can give, it's really only coming from their experience. Everyone's only lived one life, so they can only tell you what works for them. And the reason it worked for them was because they figured out how their mind works, how to meld together, what they want to do with what they're capable of and whatever. Like, they went through the whole journey of life and they ended up finding some sort of success. And so they're just telling you how they found their success, but trying to make it more general. And sometimes it might work for you. Maybe the advice will work for you, but most of the time it's not going to work for you. And something that I pretty much was saying in that video, and I'll say it again and kind of build upon it more, is the reason why you can't follow anyone else's advice is because the thing that is leading up to your breakthrough moment, the thing that's holding you back from your success, are the things that are the hardest to confront in your life. For me, I always feel kind of lazy. I feel like, reserved, not wanting to put myself out there, not wanting to have to face the idea of failure, just not wanting to, being so scared of failing because, I was such a gifted child growing up, went through university, went to, one of the best programs you could go to for physics. I'm not doing physics. And the more time that passes where I'm just in this la-la land of I graduated a year ago, what am I doing now? The more that I'm in that space, the more that I give other people the facts and evidence and validation to think that, to call me a failure, and for me to be you're right, I am a failure. I don't want to confront that fact that I could be a failure. And one of the big breakthroughs that I came to was all right, if I just do things my way, no matter how stupid it seems, I can never fail again, because I'm just doing things and I'm legitimately just putting myself out there and just trying as hard as I can. And if I'm doing that, then there's no such thing as failure. And any quote unquote failures that I run into are just going to be you know, things that I can get back from, things that I can improve from, and things that I can keep moving forward from. Just knowledge, more knowledge and wisdom that I have to be the best version of myself that I can be. And it's one thing to say that, but it's another thing to do that. And it's so hard to do it. And here I am running back into the same thought loops and patterns and behaviors that I just need to break out from. But it's so hard to do that. I don't know if this video is going to have like a nice little tied conclusion to like, oh, these are all my problems and here is how I fixed them. Because I haven't fixed them yet. That's kind of the whole thesis of this channel, is a work in progress. Everything that you see, all these ideas that come out from me are works in progress. And you'll get to see in real time whether or not they work or not. But there's just so much pressure to like get it all figured out, to be making a bunch of money. And I want to, okay, I want a lot of money. I want a money max this year. I just want to be doing something, but there's just something holding me back. And it's myself. It's really just myself. And I think that it's other people holding me back. I think that it's my environment that's holding me back, but in reality, it's just myself. Because no matter where I am, I can just say, fuck it. And I can be like, you know what, whatever. All right, grandma, you're thinking that I'm goofing off, that I'm not really doing anything, that I'm wasting my time. Whatever. Enjoy your day. I'm going to keep doing my thing. No, I could do that, but I don't do that because I'm just afraid, I guess. I'm just afraid. And it's so easy to sit down and record a video and talk about it and seem like I have it all put together. It's so easy to do that. Much easier to do that than it is to actually just put in the hard work of getting something done. It's just difficult. It's hard. It's really hard. And I wish that it wasn't so hard. I wish that it was much easier. I wish that I could just be in a flow state where, you know, the things that I just do and the things that I want to do are just, I don't know, if someone just gives me money for doing them. But it's not like that. At least not for me. I have to just try to put my skills towards a certain project, or just, you know, different projects. I'm on one project right now, trying to just follow that through until its conclusion. And then if that doesn't work out, move on to the next thing. But there's just so much pressure to do it well. And not only to do it well, but to do it quickly. And it's so overbearing. It's so much at times. It feels so impossibly impossible. It just feels so impossible sometimes. And I guess it's, for whatever reason, it's easy for me to do this. It's easy for me to set up a camera and start talking and probably oversharing things about my life that I, in retrospect, will probably regret putting out there once it gets popular enough. But I don't know, maybe that's part of what I'm just meant to do. Maybe this is just part of it. I don't know. I guess doing these videos are like a micro version of me trying to get over what people think, what people perceive, and just trying to move through and confront my biggest fears head on and move past it. But it's one thing to just talk about it, and it's another thing to you just got to act through it. And I'm such an overly pensive, introspective, and like overthinker. And I don't say that in like a positive way. And I guess I don't even mean it in a negative way. That's just the truth. I don't. That's just the type of person I am. And I wished I wasn't like that to some extent. I wish that I was more of a doer, an actor. Because, you know, my older sister is more like that. She's a lot more of just a, let's just do and just keep doing. And if something bad comes up, we'll just figure it out. And I really admire that aspect of her. I really admire that principle. And I'm trying my best to do that. But it's so, I don't know, man. I don't know what I need. I don't know what'll fix it. I just need to break these patterns, break these thought loops, put myself in more uncomfortable situations, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. I just have no idea how to do that. I have no idea how to do that. But I guess the one takeaway from this is being honest with yourself. That's a good thing to do, right? That's a good start. And I don't know, being honest, being open, and then just trying your best to not care about what other people think of you, about what other people think you should be doing. As long as you have high expectations for yourself, then just hold yourself to it, okay? And, take in words of advice and other people's experiences into account. Take it in, don't just completely ignore it, but don't let what other people say be the be-all, end-all of what you end up doing in your life. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to work for your life are things that you do, things that you come up with, things that you work through. Because if you don't end up going through that hard journey on your own, okay, if you don't end up being on the same path as me, all right, 23, turning 24, young buck who thinks who thought they had things figured out, and then it's just untangling more and more. Or I guess it's not even untangling, it's tangling up more and more. Or I guess I'm looking at it and I thought it was going to be easy to kind of work through. And then I'm like, well, it's even harder than I can ever imagine. But just working through it. That's the only thing that you can do. So things are a bit of a mess right now, but that's how it's supposed to be. It's not meant to be easy. Just enjoy the moment. I feel like I'm just saying a bunch of empty platitudes now. Enjoy the moment. Just do you. Find some fun in it. Live, laugh, love. Those are true statements. Truer than you can ever believe. The things that seem overly simplistic and so simplistic it seems almost stupid, that's where the most truth is, actually. So don't overlook things like that. Yeah, super unorganized, whatever. Unorganized thoughts. What are you going to do? Sue me? Dislike the video. Do it. And I say all that to also just be like, sometimes you just need to have those moments. You just need to have those moments where you just word vomit, rants, get your feelings out there. And then you just take a deep breath in and out and you're like, all right. And then you stand up and you just go back to work. So let's do exactly that. Let's go back to work.